In 2006, the Japan Self-Defense Forces Ministry of Defense has shifted to joint operational posture. This enables an integrated operation of ground, maritime, and air self-defense force on a routine basis and swift and effective execution of ever-expanding and diversifying missions of the Japan Self-Defense Forces. With reorganization into joint operational posture, JSDF has strengthened its operational foundation in such areas as chain of command, information gathering, education and training, integration of forces, and concentration and fortification. The joint operational posture is ready to respond immediately to various situations, such as the defense of the southwestern region, attacks of ballistic missiles, guerrilla and special forces, and a full-fledged act of aggression. For JSDF to respond quickly to various situations in our nation, consisting of over 6,000 islands and surrounded by the ocean, it is crucial to continue information gathering, warnings, and surveillance in our territorial air and waters to secure our safety. Surveillance of the vessels in the surrounding ocean with maritime self-defense force, patrol aircraft, escort ships, and submarines. Surveillance of the surrounding airspace with air self-defense force, coastal radar sites, and AWACS. Scrambling of fighter jets against suspicious aircraft likely violating the territory. And coastal surveillance with Ground Self-Defense Force Coast Observation Unit and unmanned reconnaissance aircraft. Furthermore, GSDF is working on the deployment of its Coast Observation Unit to the southwestern region and is considering the organization of a new unit responsible for the initial response. If armed fishermen land on our territorial islands, the police and the Japan Coast Guard are to handle the situation. However, if an opposing country initiates an attack with naval warships or Air Force fighter jets, the MSDF escort ships, submarines, and patrol aircraft, as well as ASDF fighter jets, should respond. And GSDF is to destroy enemy vessels with surface-to-ship missiles deployed on islands in advance and destroy enemy aircraft with the missiles. Also, to prevent enemy troops from landing, units in charge of island defense will be transported with MSDF vessels, ASDF aircraft, and private ferries for deployment. If by any chance our islands are occupied, a recapture mission is to be executed by the combined firepower of the ground, maritime, and air self-defense forces, as well as bilateral operation with U.S. forces if necessary. Furthermore, to prepare a battle over the islands or during battle, GSDF is to secure the safety of the people behind the battlefront in cooperation with local civil organizations. GSDF also protects evacuees and serves as guides to ships and aircraft to transport to safe areas. GSDF is also in charge of guarding the bases of MSDF, ASDF, and U.S. forces, as well as important facilities such as airports and seaports, protecting the foundation of bilateral operations and the infrastructure of the people. To ensure swift deployment and mobilization for these actions, GSDF is conducting joint or bilateral exercises with MSDF, ASDF, and the U.S. Marine Corps. GSDF fulfills its roles during an attack on our islands in a wide range, from the front line to rear area, with one of its major characteristics of being the closest to the people throughout their activities. Despite the efforts of the international community for non-proliferation of ballistic missiles and weapons of mass destruction, these weapons continue to spread in the world. Some countries surrounding Japan are also equipped with a large number of ballistic missiles capable of loading nuclear weapons and repeatedly implement missile test launches and nuclear tests. The threat is becoming more imminent. Our nation's ballistic missile defense is based on a multi-layered system consisting of the exo-atmospheric interception by Aegis destroyers and the interception at the re-entry by Patriot PAC-3s. ASDF Patriot PAC-3s are deployed with MSDF transport vessels and private ferries, and GSDF supports the deployment through coordination and control of unloading both at airports and seaports. After the deployment of PAC-3s, GSDF shares the role of guarding the PAC-3s with ASDF. The launch time and the point of impact of ballistic missiles is uncertain. Therefore, GSDF dispatches its personnel to local municipalities to explain the status of the units and share various information and help mitigate the anxiety of the people and community. If a ballistic missile is launched and a part of the missile or toxic propellant hits Japanese soil, GSDF locates the point of impact using its aircraft and assesses the damage, then reports to the Prime Minister and local governments. If there are some casualties, GSDF provides aid, conducts emergency air transportation, and decontaminates toxic substances. GSDF works side by side with MSDF, ASDF, and local municipalities in response to ballistic missiles. Since Japan is highly urbanized, infiltration and attack by even a small group could be a severe threat to peace and safety. Many types of possible threats, such as illicit activities of armed spy agents or sabotage attacks by guerrillas and special forces, are to be deemed as a form of armed attacks on our country. MSDF and ASDF are in charge of guarding the surrounding ocean for early detection of guerrilla or special forces ships and submarines, and repel them before they reach the coast of Japan. To prevent guerrillas and special forces from reaching the coast, GSDF is to dispatch units for warning and surveillance from GSDF camps throughout Japan. Furthermore, if there is any possibility of infiltration, GSDF works closely with police and municipalities from initial responses and mobilizes reconnaissance units or helicopters to search both from ground and air. In parallel with these warning and surveillance activities, GSDF also protects important facilities such as nuclear power plants, as well as the bases of MSDF, ASDF, and U.S. forces in Japan. Additionally, to protect the citizens from nuclear, biological, and chemical attacks by guerrillas and special forces, GSDF NBC Weapon Defense Unit is to be deployed to detect and decontaminate the points or areas of the attacks. If guerrillas or special forces are found in Japan, artillery and airstrike teams concentrate the fires, while infantry and tank units close in on and destroy the enemy. Also, if the guerrillas or special forces take civilian hostages, the Special Forces Group takes charge of rescue operations. GSDF is to protect the citizens against unexpected attacks from guerrillas and special forces with units deployed throughout the country. If the enemy attempts to occupy Japan, an island nation, sea and air supremacy should be secured first. Then deploy ground forces from the sea and implement airstrikes and airborne landings from the air. In a full-fledged act of aggression against Japan, from the moment that the intention of invasion is detected to the moment of attacks, GSDF closely works with municipalities to help protect their citizens, while MSDF and ASDF diminish enemy forces with their ships and aircraft in the surrounding sea. GSDF is to carry out anti-ship engagements with MSDF and anti-aircraft engagements with ASDF, and concentrate their units to the front of operation with strategic maneuvers. Heavy weaponry such as tanks and field artillery are fully utilized, and especially through collaborative air-to-land strikes with fighter jets, enemy invasions should be blocked in coastal areas. JSDF and U.S. forces execute bilateral operations based on the guidelines for Japan-U.S. defense cooperation. Based on the joint operational posture, GSDF works with MSDF and ASDF to strengthen the defense of the southwestern region and respond immediately to various defense issues. While utilizing the lessons learned from the Great East Japan earthquake to prepare for various natural disasters, including an earthquake centered in the Tokyo area or the Nankai Trough, highly predicted to occur in the near future. In addition, GSDF engages proactively in international peace cooperation activities, as well as in various capacity-building support for developing nations, in order to enhance the global security environment. Furthermore, if an emergency such as terrorism arises overseas, GSDF is to transport Japanese citizens living in the area to airports and seaports to secure their safety. GSDF secures the peace and independence of Japan and the safety of the people, and contributes to the peace and stability of the international community.